All right, so what's the LCD here?
3.
4.
The LCD.
Oh.
3.
What are we going to turn both denominators into? 12. Good. All right. Shh, shh. So this one's already 12. Great. How am I going to turn this into a 12?
Multiply by 4.
4. Top and bottom by 4.
Yeah.
It's going to be 4.
So 4m over 12 minus, and then this guy's good to go. Now you can start subtracting that second expression. Careful. How did this become a minus?
Because this is subtraction sign.
It's a single distribute. But yes, the correct answer is distribute. You are subtracting both of these terms. So minus 6m minus 3. There you go. This is the step where we can combine the like terms. What is 4m minus 6m? Negative 2m minus 3. Can I factor anything out of the top? Whoa. Can I factor anything out of the numerator was the question. Okay, so if you can't factor it out of every single term, you cannot simplify it with the other part of the fraction, whether it's numerator or denominator, okay? So when you're all saying like, well, 2 goes into 12 and 3 goes into 12, you can't simplify terms. That was a huge problem on your last quiz. You would have to factor it out of both terms if you wanted to cancel it with the 12 or simplify it with the 12. So this is it. This is as simple as this one gets. Nothing is alike in any of the terms up top. There's no GCF to bring out to the front, so you can't simplify either of them with the 12. You guys have to get a handle on that. Any questions? Okay. Here's the next one. Again, today we're just practicing what we learned yesterday. So get the common denominators, do the adding or subtracting, simplify if you can. What is the LCD going to be? 12y to the third. Very good. So I am going to turn both of these fractions into fractions with denominators of 12y to the third. The second one's good to go. Boom. What do I need to do in the first one?
Multiply by 2y squared.
Multiply by 2y squared over 2y squared.
10y squared.
10y squared over the common denominator. The second one was good to go. Drop it into place. Now what? Subtract it. Good. However, there's no like term, so you can't actually go through and do the math, but you can write it as one rational expression. Now, does anything factor out of 10y to the second minus 7? Is there any GCFs there? So can I do any simplifying? Can I simplify the 10 and the 12? Can I simplify the y's? Absolutely not. What are your questions? C. $24 is a CD. It's not the LCD. 12 is the LCD. Now, if you accidentally did 24, that's fine. That would be an example of when something would definitely factor out. You'd have a GCF in the front that would then simplify with the 24. It might still simplify, I don't know. But definitely, if you go with a common denominator, not the least common denominator, that's fine. You're just going to have a little more work at the end. Do it. It'll work out. Not a big deal. All right. What do I need to do to the first expression in order to make the denominator a 12?
Multiply top and bottom by 3.
3 over 3. Good. Now, don't forget, you're multiplying both terms up top by that 3. So what am I going to write? 6b minus 9. Very good. I'll pause there. All right, on that second one, how am I going to turn a 6 into a 12? Times 2 times 2. Good. And again, we're distributing. Everything up top gets that 2. So what do I write?
2b minus 10.
2b minus 10.
That's what we said.
Thank you.
Legit.
All right. Then what?
Put it together.
Subtract.
6b minus 9 minus 2b plus 10.
Minus 2b plus 10. Don't forget you're subtracting both. You're distributing the minus. Change the sign. Minus 2b plus 10. 4b plus 1. Does anything factor out of 4b and 1? No. So can I cross anything out? No. It is done. So start by putting a 1 under the 4a. That way you can see what your denominators are right now. What's my LCD going to be? A. I'm going to turn both of these rational expressions into expressions that have denominators of a. How am I going to get an a on the bottom of the first one?
A over A.
A over a.
4a squared.
4a squared. Minus, what am I going to do in the back? Nothing. Now I can subtract. Can I factor anything out of 4a squared minus 3? No. So can I simplify anything in this expression? No. If you are still feeling the urge to cross out the exponent of 2 and cross out the a on the bottom, we need to have some serious conversations. Okay.
Are we ever going to learn how to turn these into multiplication problems or anything like that? Like turn subtraction or addition into like multiplication or division?
When you do that.
Well, because like...
What is the LCD going to be? Yes, sir. M minus 5 times M. Good. So my LCD needs an M and it needs an M minus 5. It needs both parts. What am I going to multiply the first one by? M over M. That gives me 6M. What am I going to multiply the second one by? M minus 5. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. I have a binomial up top times a binomial. You have to double distribute. Let me show you what I did here because a lot just happened. I did 4 times M, I got 4M. I did 4 times negative 5, I got minus 20. I did negative M times M, I got minus M squared. And I did negative M times negative 5, and I got plus 5M. Now, it's going to get even trickier because all of those need to be subtracted. And I have like terms. So you can kind of pick where you want to go next. In this particular step, it all happened. No, it didn't. They're still like terms. Excuse me. I misspoke. So when I put these in the same rational expression, combine them into one, that's when I distributed the negative sign. So I started with the 6M minus 4M plus 20 plus M squared minus 5M. Now you can combine all your like terms in one step. We have 6M minus 4M, that's 2M. And 2M minus 5M is what? Negative 3M. And I'm going to write this in descending order for my exponents. So I'm going to go M squared minus 3M plus 20 over m times m minus 5. The reason I did that is now this is in that form where I can do the MA method. Do we know anything that multiplies to 20 and adds to negative 3?
No.
What are the ways I can make it 20?
2 and 10. I actually have a question for one of the steps.
Yes.
Like, couldn't we have just simplified it before we combined it?
Yes, that's why I actually, did you hear me say like, oh, we did it all at once? I would have done it all at once. Honestly, I would have said, okay, this is going to be 9m, and then I'm going to subtract it. So yeah, if you can kind of do some of that in your head, absolutely, yes. But as far as the notes, we usually show it all just for the people that want to see it. Okay, back to this. Ways to make a 20 are 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5.
That's it.
That's it. So does this factor?
No.
It does not. So what you can do is just write this guy by distributing the m.
Distributed the bottom.
Just distribute the m on the bottom. Yes. What are your questions?
I wrote something that's up on the other space.
Yes.
Could we keep going and like factor out the top? And
How would you factor the top?
well, I mean, I don't know if we would, but like I was just saying. Like,
So,
try to factor it out.
We talked about it. Yeah, we tried to. Did you guys all hear the question? Why didn't we factor the top? We tried. We couldn't come up with anything that multiplied to 20 and added to negative 3.
I'm sorry.
The only other, you could factor an m out of the first two terms, but that's not enough to be able to simplify anything, so that's not productive. That's not something I would ever do. It has to factor out of all the terms to be a useful step. So I would be done here. Yep. Any questions? All right. Keep it going. All right, so the first thing you want to do is rewrite the n squared minus 4 in factored form. So difference of squares, n plus 2, n minus 2. So what's my LCD going to be?
M plus 2, M plus 2, M minus 2.
Oh, do you need two n plus 2s?
Yes. Wait, yes, because they're in opposite terms.
No. It's only if there's two of one certain.
Right, like you... So if one of the denominators has that factor twice, then you need it twice. Right now, this guy has it once, this guy has it once, which is actually good because we won't need to multiply either of them by an n plus 2. They already have it. So I can see why you would be tempted to put two n plus 2s, but then you're just going to multiply this one by n plus 2 and this one by n plus 2, and you just have a bunch of extra terms that you don't need. So if they already both have it, great. If they only have it once, even better, right? Because then you don't need it. If one of them has it twice, that's when you'd need it twice. So right now we're in a perfect position to just do n plus 2, n minus 2. What do I need to multiply the first guy by? Nothing. He's good to go, right? That's why we don't want any extra stuff. He's already ready. All right. What about the n plus 2? You need to multiply it by n minus 2. So you're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by n minus 2. And up top, you can distribute the 4.
8.
So 4n minus 8. All right, questions so far? All right, so this is going to be 8n first minus 4n plus 8. This is such a crucial step. You've got to subtract both terms, okay? If there was 3 terms in the top, we'd subtract all of those. If there were 4 terms back there, we'd subtract all of those. However many terms there are, you are changing the sign on all of them to make sure that you are subtracting them all. All right, what is 8n minus 4n? So we have 4n plus 8. So we can factor 4 out. That leaves me with n plus 2. Great. N plus 2 goes away. We're left with 4 over n minus 2. And then you can simplify the 4 and the 2, right? No, don't do it. I can see in your eyes you want to. Don't, okay? You have to be able to factor out of every term in order to simplify it. So you cannot do anything here. This is good to go. Done. What are your questions?
LCD.
All right, yes. So we learned again for the second day in the row, adding and subtracting
LCD.
with unlike denominators. Or you could say by finding the LCD. Good, so here's the deal. I'm going to give you your homework. We'll go over it tomorrow. Then we are reviewing for a quiz that you will take on Friday. Long weekend, come back, review again, test. Got it? 3 days.